Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Johanna, and for those of you who are new here, welcome. And for those of you who are returning, welcome back. In today's video, I want to show you some easy ways to make some DIY tabs for your planner, your notebooks, your Bible. And if that is of interest to you, please stay tuned. Okay, so one of my viewers, one of my planner buddies here, Stac, I'm hoping I said that correctly. It's Stac space E, so I'm thinking Stacy, had asked how I had done the tabs in my Happy Nietzsche, and that video is actually pretty long. I thought, you know what, I can make a really quick video showing you some different ideas on how to make tabs with very little materials. Now, I have a corner chomper, and so at the end of the video, I'll show you how to make some adjustments with some tools, but to make some pretty usable, basic tabs, you actually don't need anything but paper, adhesive, and a pair of scissors. So the easiest one to do, and let's just get right into it, is just to take some scrap paper and determine both the width of it, because whatever you do, you're going to want to fold it in half, so that you get the best adherence to your divider page, planner page, Bible page, whatever you're using this for. And if you plan to put a sticker, then you're also going to want to figure that out as well. Now, this was the first in a stack, so I can tell already if I wanted to use something like this Today sticker, either I'd have to cut it down or this would be too small. But if I took this piece right here, and for this project, measurements don't matter because it depends on where you're putting it and what you're using. If you're just doing your own lettering, then you can make it as big as small as you want. If you are using stickers that you have in your arsenal, then you're going to want to measure it to the sticker. But then depending on the size of the page you have, you'll need to take that in consideration too. So this is really more of showing you how to use some of your products versus giving you any kind of measurements, because it's just as flexible as you need it to be. Okay, so that one fits right there, and I can choose to just cut that down and then cut this just to make it even. Now, if you're that girl or that person, you could certainly measure and mark and make sure it is perfectly even, but for my purposes, that works just as well. I suppose I could have chosen another sticker that wasn't as dark. Now, to secure this, it actually would be dependent on what materials you have at hand. If you have glue, you can certainly use that. If you do use glue, however, just be aware, unless it's an instant bond, you may have to hold it for a little while. But you would just kind of sandwich that together. Sorry, big hands, small piece of paper. And this is an instant, so I could kind of smush it together. And then you would put it on whatever it is that you're putting it on. And just hold it and keep pressing if you are using glue. Now, while it isn't fully set yet, it definitely is set enough so that it doesn't pop off. And so you could do it like that. Or if you are using glue or whatever adhesive you're choosing, sorry, I'm on my lunch break and I'm trying to keep all of my thoughts in order and also do a video. Obviously, it's not going well. If you have this kind of tape, what you can do is, before you put anything down, if you are doing multiple dividers or Bible pages or whatever it is you're doing and you need the staggered effect, you would make all of your tabs. If you have this kind, then you can just put it on beforehand, but don't peel up the paper. And then you can mark on each individual paper, stack them all up, and then kind of stagger. so that you know exactly where it is to put it. And then you could just clip it together, and if you have multiple things, then you can go multiple ways before you actually stick it down. Now, ideally, you'd want all of your tabs to be exactly the same size, just so that it's uniform. Plus also, what you definitely want to do is, once you have it in the place you want it, mark a corner so that if you are using glue or adhesive or whatever and you have to take it off and peel that away, then you could just line up the corner to that and it'll be in exactly the placement that you want. I hope that makes sense. Okay, now I have scraps of paper here, but you could use planner paper, you could use copier paper, you could use junk mail by way of envelopes. I mean, really, you just need a surface to either stick a sticker on that says something, or you write something down there that tells you what that tab is used for. Because I'm assuming this is not just a decorative thing, it's more to be productive or find something in your planner. And so depending on the kind of paper that you're using, you could just write on it like that, or like we did in here, you use a sticker that says something. Okay. Now, another way that you can make a label is if you have stickers, you just need the surface. Let's just pick one of these. Now, I don't need it to be that big, so I'm going to just cut half. Doesn't matter what it says, because that's not what this is for, because I'm going to be covering that up. And actually, that's probably a little wider than I needed. But I'm just going to stick that down, fold it in on itself for as big as I want the tab to be, and that's going to be up to you depending on how far you want that to stick out. And then I can always add another sticker on top to indicate what this is, like that. Now, the difference between using a cardstock type of paper and a sticker is this is still a bit flimsy. A way around that, you guys know I love my Scotch tape, not sponsored, by the way, is wrap this around. And I find that the gloss finish, the super crystal clear one, works the best because it doesn't have that filmy thing that some of the other ones do. And that just gives it a little bit more stability. Now, whatever it is that you are putting a tab on, so long as that's removable, you could also run it through your laminator. I've never found a need for that because I'm not very hard on my tabs, and there isn't anything that I need to move from planner to planner because I would just make more tabs. But that definitely gives it some sturdiness. Now, if you are doing something in a Bible and you're making your own chapter tabs, then I would actually recommend using something thinner because the pages of a Bible generally are thinner paper. And if you use something like this, where it's a little bit heavier, it could probably damage your page a little bit. I think it'd be better to use a thinner paper and then use that trick in order to give it just a little bit more sturdiness than adding some weight. Because even with thinner paper and the Scotch tape, it's not as thick and heavy as a cardstock. And this is actually pretty thick paper. Okay, so that's how to make the tabs. And then if you wanted to zhuzh it up a little bit, I don't know if this will be too small, then you could use whatever corner punch you have. This one's good because it does have a 1/4 inch and it's just big enough to go in there. And then you just make a nice rounded corner. But if you don't have a corner punch, or if you have the 1/2 inch punch and you think that might be too big, then you could use any round shape. Now I'm using this cap from my bottle of water, and Really, you just want it a rounded corner if you want it to be exactly the same. And then you could round your corners off that way. And that way you don't need any special tools, okay? Now, the other thing that you could do if you want to make it more decorative, now I don't have a lot of luck with these, is you wouldn't be able to cut across the top. Because if you do that, you separate them, and then it just makes it that much more finicky to actually glue this down, because then you'll just have two pieces of paper. But you could do a decorative element on the side. Again, these never cut really well for me. And then I don't know if it would still work in the corner rounder. Not too bad. And you can see it more on this side than you can see on this side. This one, it just did not cut well. And I don't know if that's user error or just those scissors suck. I don't know. But if you really want to add some decorative elements, you can see what you have in your arsenal and then just play around with the edges there, around there. I've heard and I've seen here on YouTube that We Are Memory Keepers has these corner chompers that have different shaped corners that it chomps. I only have this one. This is all I need for my purposes. But if you have that, then absolutely use that. But making tabs is actually really straightforward and really easy. If you have papers, then just coordinate that to what you are using and what you're putting it on. If you don't, you could always use something like this. If you don't want the stark white, you can color with markers, highlighters, you can come up with a sticker. But I'm hoping, Stacy, I don't know, it feels like this is all over the place. I'm hoping this gives you ideas on how to add some tabs to your planner or your notebooks or your books or your Bible or whatever you're using this for, with supplies that you probably have on hand in a relatively easy method. All right, guys, well, that's it for me for now. And as always, aloha.